6 acts of kindness assignment. And I had a couple of obstacles trying to accomplish this week. The first was that it was a short week for me, being Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. Things were closed. A lot of people were not going about their regular routines, so it made it a bit more difficult to accomplish some of the things I was hoping to do during the week. One of the other challenges that I really had with this assignment is that I try to do regular acts of kindness for people, including strangers, on a regular basis, and having to do it for the purpose of an assignment made my actions feel very inorganic, and so I really struggled to do things that I would normally do because all of a sudden I felt like there was an ulterior motive to it, and my concern was starting to be that people would sense that in me rather than just doing it because I want to be part of the community and I desire to do things for the benefit of others. So those were two of the obstacles that I struggled with. Um, and I'll kind of explain towards the end how that also sheds some light on some things that are coming up for me and for the church. So this week I did do a few things. First of all, I ended up setting aside some time on Thursday that I wasn't expecting to help the Baptists who rent space from our church. They are not technologically inclined, and so I ended up pushing off a couple of plans that I had to come in and assist them with some technology issues that they were having. Um, on the weekend, I helped my sister-in-law make her Thanksgiving supper. She actually was making for the family. And though we were told we didn't have to help, my wife and I felt that it would be best if she at least had somebody else in the kitchen giving her a hand. So we went and we helped my sister-in-law cook Thanksgiving dinner, even though it wasn't our year. Um, we have a student who's living with us. He's 18 years old. He's attending a local college. He's living with us for free, so that in itself is an act of kindness. But on top of that, we gave him bus fare this week because he ran out of money for the bus to get to school. So we gave him some bus money, and he's living with us. I had another situation come up with a friend. No legal expert. I'm a pastor, not a lawyer, but I helped him write an affidavit as well as go through some legal documentation that was served to him via his ex, as well as what his lawyer gave him to be proofread before he submitted it to the court as his final version of what took place. Um, I know that can sound like that's something that has to do with work, but some of the details that were included were far outside my scope. And again, I wasn't doing it as a pastor, but I was doing it as a friend. Another act of kindness that I did this week is I bought coffee for somebody random behind me at the Tim Hortons drive-thru. No idea who they were, still don't know who they are. Simply pulled up, said I'd like to buy the coffee for the people behind us. So they charged me for that. We paid, and we drove away, and they received their coffee. Hopefully, they enjoyed it. My wife commented as we were doing it that they didn't look like they needed it because they were driving a nice, brand new, fancy Cadillac Escalade, and I told her that even rich people need coffee sometimes too. Maybe they would be willing to pass it on to the person behind them. Who knows? But everybody deserves an act of kindness no matter what their station at life is. I learned a couple of things this week. The first thing is sometimes the simplest things uh, go the farthest distance. Um, Something I didn't mention because it doesn't seem like much of an act of kindness is I've made it a regular habit in my life to hold doors for everybody, even if it's an extreme inconvenience for me, like it's raining or snowing outside, cold, whatever. I still try to hold the door, even if that means I'm holding the door for a long period of time as a large group of people pass through. Um, some people find that odd because it seems that holding doors for people is no longer part of our society. But it makes a difference, I notice, for people, and the fact that that they just smile and seem to appreciate it for the most part. Especially for larger groups, they seem to notice that you're inconveniencing yourself for them. Uh, but the little things can make a really big difference, even if it's something as simple as holding a door for somebody else. The other thing I learned has to do with the inorganic expression. Part of my regular routine is doing random acts of kindness. I regularly offer hot drinks, meals to water to homeless people that I meet, whether I'm doing a service downtown or within my own community. I've bought coffee. I've bought gas. I've um, bought bread and milk for families in need, not out of the church budget, out of my own pocket. Just random acts helping people within the community, buy coffee for people at Tim Hortons. Um, but I found that doing it this week because I had to, um, not it didn't take some of the joy out of it, but it put a pressure onto it that I wasn't expecting and made it feel very unnatural and made it actually more difficult for me to do and accomplish because I felt almost phony in doing it. Um, and the reason that's important is because the vision team and I last Tuesday had decided that part of our Advent season we are going to be putting together Christmas invitations for the church. And on those invitations is going to be a sticker, and that sticker is going to be a specific act of kindness. And we're planning on giving these out to our discipleship groups and our family units and asking them to accomplish this act of kindness for somebody in their community, friend, coworker, uh, family member, or stranger. And then after doing that act of kindness, if they ask about it, handing them the invitation to the Christmas Eve service and talking about the church, the relationship with Christ, whatever type of spiritual conversations they can enter in. And though I don't think this is a bad idea, doing it this week for the assignment did bring about some things we're going to have to work through, such as people feeling very inorganic about it, feeling like it's very forced upon them, and not doing it out of the joy of the Lord, but doing it because they have to do it. So that's something we're going to have to work through and express so that people are doing it willingly rather than begrudgingly because the church told them they had to. So that's a key part that we're going to have to work through as we put together uh, our Advent project. The other thing I learned has to do with my own leadership. As I said, I try to practice this on a regular basis. So in that regards, I think it does keep me humble, it keeps me grounded, keeps me well based. But I do need to be more intentional. Oftentimes, my acts of kindness are very spontaneous and in the moment, which is great. I should react to those, but I also need to make sure I'm being very intentional uh, in looking for opportunities to serve others. And again, oftentimes the service I've given has been to those who are in need. It's been to somebody who's been down and out and who has maybe even approached me about help. And sometimes even those who don't look like they need help could use an act of kindness in their life, even if they are driving the nice fancy Escalade behind me or seem to have it all together. Even they sometimes need a little bit of encouragement and kindness. So that's what I learned this week in the Act of Kindness assignment. That's what I'm working through. So hope you guys had a great week, and I'll talk with you soon. God bless.